everyone, and welcome to Vegan with Jen. Today I have a very special guest with me, my future mother-in-law, Miss Tamara Toro. She's an integrative arts practitioner, and she's been vegan for about 3 years. So today she's here to share with us her experience with veganism, including some of the food she eats and what kind of health changes she's had. So thank you so much for being on my channel.
Well, thank you for having me.
So let's start off with what inspired you to go vegan?
What inspired me to go vegan is my health. And I was having a lot of health issues and there was no medical explanations for it. And after doing a lot of research and a lot of digging and reading a lot of papers and documentaries, I decided to give vegan a try. I didn't think, I thought that there was like nothing for me to lose. What can I lose? Nothing. And it's been an amazing journey ever since.
Awesome. So what documentaries did you watch?
Oh my gosh, I watched every single one that was on Netflix. So like Fork Over Knives, like all of those documentaries I watched. And I read a lot of blogs and did just a lot of research.
Very cool. And so what kind of changes did you see in your health?
The first thing that I noticed was the energy. So before I became vegan, I was like severely anemic. And I was always tired. I had to take prescription iron medication for that. And then when I became vegan, all of that changed. I have energy all the time, and I just feel really good all of the time.
So a lot of people I know are afraid to go vegan if they are anemic because they think they're not going to be able to get enough iron. So it's really amazing to me that you were anemic before, and now after going vegan, you're not.
Right.
Right. How long were you anemic for before going vegan?
It was most of my life. I was anemic. And what I noticed was like the year before I became vegan, my anemia was getting worse. And they couldn't understand why. If they kept asking me to up my protein, and I was doing that. And the more protein I had, like meat protein, then like the worse I felt that I felt. And so I decided to do the opposite. And that's when everything changed for me.
Wow. So how long after going vegan did you see that disappear?
That was like right away. That was like within the first 3 months.
Wow.
Of that. So before I became vegan, I was on a lot of medication.
Okay.
And most of it was pain medication. Because I always had these horrible cramps and I had these just issues around my gut area that there was like no explanation after getting all the testing that you can possibly get done. And when I became vegan, I decided that I was going to give this a try. And it was going to be a year or more. And I stopped taking all the medication. Of course, I talked to my doctors about this first. And that was like the first thing I noticed. Without any medication, I didn't need any more medication at all, period. So that was like the first.
Any more pain medication or anything at all?
None.
Wow.
Zero, zip, nada. No kind of medication whatsoever. I don't take any medication. Before, when I would go to the doctor and they would ask you, what kind of medication are you on? My list would go on and on and on and on and on. From all the different medications I was taking alongside with all the supplements because I needed them because of anemia.
Right.
And all of that changed just with me changing my diet.
Well, what did your doctor say when you told them you were going to go vegan?
They were really supportive. So because my doctor at the time was an integrative doctor.
Okay.
So she was like definitely really supportive. I mean, she did say, well, maybe you should start just with maybe eating fish. And I was like, no, I just want to go ahead and do this all the way. Because I felt like after so many years, like about 10 years or more of getting tested and no explanation, I felt like, what else can I lose? Nothing else. So mine was, I'm going to do it. I'm going to like research my own body and I'm going to go ahead and do it. And that's what I did.
Wow. Good for you.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yes. And I feel great.
Okay. So I want to shift gears a little bit to what kind of foods you started eating after going vegan. So walk us through like a typical day, maybe like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you would eat.
Okay, so a typical day for me, I'm really into smoothies. I feel that like that's like a super easy breakfast type meal for me, and I also like all the nutrients that I get in one big meal. So I always start off with a green smoothie every morning. And for lunch, I love salads, and I make my own salads with my own dressings. In the wintertime, I like to have a soup and salad. My acupuncturist thought it was like really good if I just warm my digestive system in the wintertime. So I have a little bit of soup, and then I have a salad. And for dinner, I mean, I get creative. I can, if whatever I'm in the mood for. It can just be like brown rice, quinoa with tofu, a lot of veggies, sweet potato, beans, lentils, whatever I'm in the mood for. I get really, really creative.
So where do you come up with the recipes?
Just doing a lot of research. There are endless blogs. There's so many amazing, great vegan cookbooks. And when I began my journey, I did the 21-day Physicians Committee restart program, and that really supported me. So they gave me like a meal plan and the grocery list, so I had an idea of where to begin. So I do like to follow a meal plan. So I personally pay for a monthly vegan meal plan that I feel that it's worth it. But before I discovered that there was actually such a thing, I literally just went through cookbooks or even like blogs. The internet has all of it and everything. Pinterest, I mean, there's so much information out there.
Yeah, super easy to just Google like vegan recipe for whatever you're craving.
For whatever you're craving, there's a vegan recipe for it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep.
And so I know you meal prep on Sundays usually. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do for that?
Yes. So I start thinking about my menu like either Thursday or Friday. I prefer to go to the grocery store on Fridays, or Saturday mornings. But I just think of what I want to eat for the week, and just make a list and go to the grocery store. And then I like to meal prep on Sundays. It makes it so much easier, and there's always food for me to eat instead of trying to grab something that's like really quick because I'm hungry. I don't feel like cooking or anything. It's just easier that way, especially working and then having children and all of that. It's just great to meal prep. I also like salads. Like I'll meal prep a salad either the night before or like even that morning. I'll meal prep it and I have it ready to go. Like the dressings, I'll make myself like on Sundays, or anything that I can make in big batches, like lentils, like any beans or anything that I want to add to my salads and all of that. Then I make that all on Sunday. I just keep it in the fridge.
And you keep them separate, like you just make a big thing of lentils?
Yes, and I just keep a whole bunch of little bowls, little containers, like bean balls, lentils, black beans, anything like that. I'll just make a big batch of it and I'll just keep it in the fridge.
Awesome. So after you meal prep on Sunday, how long does it take you to make your food when you get home?
It depends. It depends what I'm gonna have.
Okay.
So usually, since I already meal prep the most important thing, then sometimes, let's say if I'm gonna have like vegan tacos, I just have to warm up the tortillas, and maybe if I have to cut up the romaine lettuce or anything else that I have to cut up, maybe it can be 15 to 20 minutes
That's
of that time. That's it. It might take a little bit longer if I have to make like the rice or the quinoa fresh, but usually I'll have a batch of that already in the fridge. It depends.
And earlier we were just talking about how she loves to cook now. I'm wondering if you can just share your experience on, after going vegan, the changes you had just with cooking and trying new foods and things like that.
Yeah, so before I became vegan, I used to hate to cook, and I was not a good cook at all. I mean, I really cannot stand it. And so and then when I became vegan, I was like, I had to get real creative and to keep myself like entertained. Because I love food, I love spices, I love to try different things. And so now, oh my gosh, I love to cook, and I'm really good at it, and I can get really creative. And then I also love to share my food because it's so good. So I absolutely just love that part, and because of the way I feel after I eat, I have so much energy that it just motivates me to keep going even more.
Yes, I love when she has me over to try new recipes that she makes.
Yes.
And she's always telling me, oh, I brought this food to work and everybody loved it, and they're always surprised it's vegan.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love to share my food. It's like I want people to experience how delicious vegan food is.
Mm-hmm.
There's like that misconception that, oh, all you do is eat tofu.
Right.
And it's not.
Or
I don't have
salads.
that much tofu, You can have anything and everything. You just get like super creative. If you're craving like buffalo style wings, make buffalo style cauliflower, and it's delish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so amazing how creative you can get.
Yeah. And another big thing is family events. And I know food is such a big part of family culture, the social gatherings. So what do you do when you have family gatherings, or if you have any tips to share with people?
So if it's like my immediate family, then I'll bring a dish, and it's going to be a vegan dish.
Mm-hmm.
But my family has already been they're really supportive, and so they always make sure they have like vegan options. Or like, for example, in Puerto Rico around the holidays we have arroz con gandules, and it's usually made with ham. And so now my family no longer puts ham in the arroz con gandules, they just make it a vegan style rice.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that. If it's a place that if I'm going to go to someone else's home and I'm not expected or asked to bring a dish, then I always just make sure I eat something beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I always do is I always make sure I have some kind of protein bar in my purse as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned the hard way. So it's just basically really thinking ahead and preparing yourself for that. Even if it's not a protein bar, maybe you can just carry some nuts or something in your purse to give you that little bit of boost that you need just until you're able to leave or get to some kind of food that you're able to eat.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And I remember when I first met Greg and I would come to the family events, I have the rice and the beans and maybe plantains, and then after you went vegan, every time I would come over there'd be a whole bunch of new vegan options.
Yes.
I remember the first time you made vegan queso sauce.
Yes.
And I didn't even go over to try it because I just didn't even think it would be vegan. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is vegan. I made these vegan Rice Krispie treats, and she's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that it's not just me and you eating the vegan food. Everybody at the party loves it.
Yes. And so that's one of the things I started doing is sharing with them, especially when my parents come over. I always cook a vegan meal for them. Mm-hmm. And I may cook a little bit of chicken on the side for them. But they have been introduced to so many different vegan dishes, and they love them. There has not been one that they have not loved. And even if they're not really into tofu, I'll make a roasted veggie salad and add a little bit of roasted tofu in there, and you can't even taste it. They're little tiny squares, and they love it. And vegan cheeses and dips and sauces, all of that, they love. Every single time they come over, they know most of it's going to be vegan, 95%. And they love it.
Yeah, and it's good.
It's really good.
So what about going out with friends? How is that?
So going out with friends, usually we already know where we're going to go eat. So I'll make sure I look at a menu online and prep accordingly. And I usually, if the restaurant doesn't have anything vegan on their menu online, then I do email the restaurant, and they have been really supportive with offering me some vegan options. And when I am at a restaurant, I talk to the waitress or the waiter or whoever is serving us and let them know I'm vegan and what options do you have other than a salad. And it's all about having a relationship and letting them know what your restrictions are, because they're amazing. I mean, they come up with things that I would not even think about doing.
Yeah, sometimes the chef will just make something that's not on the menu just for you.
That they have done that for me before. Yeah. I would just say, I see that you had this on the menu. What can you do? Can you ask the chef what he can or she can do to make it vegan? And they come up with amazing things. So it's just about being your own advocate and communicating what you desire to have, other than a salad. Yeah.
Yeah, tired of having salad.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more restaurants are having vegan options.
They
now,
sure are.
too, which
Yes.
is good. So how do you find a way to enjoy the same foods that you used to have before you were going vegan? And are there any foods that you miss after going vegan?
There were some foods that I did miss. So one of the things that I thought I was gonna miss the most was eggs.
Really?
Like, I thought I was gonna miss them because I had an egg every day. And I thought I was gonna miss it the most. But there are so many different alternatives to that, that it's just about being creative and finding a vegan alternative. I mean, even recently, I was craving like a Duncan Hines brownie, and I went and got the brownie mix and just made it vegan, and it tasted really good.
It was delicious.
So you get really super creative. I mean, even if it's down to craving or missing like wings, you make cauliflower, you know, make them out of the cauliflower and they taste delicious. Like Chinese food, Journal style chicken, I've always loved that. So now I'm making it tofu and it tastes delicious. There's just so many different things that you can get really, really creative with.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you really, really have to think outside of the box. And it's about thinking outside the box. And I'm really into spices, so it's really having the pantry stocked with spices because you can make it anything you want vegan, and it's gonna be delicious.
Right.
And there's, like I said, so much information. There's so many blogs on the internet.
Online.
There's so many cookbooks.
Yeah.
I mean, down from an Instapot cookbook, you know, down like there's a cookbook, a vegan cookbook on everything you can imagine. So there's tons out there.
Yeah, and definitely creativity, because people do think, oh, you just have to substitute with tofu.
Right.
But you said you make the wings with cauliflower. There's jackfruit, mushrooms to replace like shredded meat. So many different things.
There's so many.
Those cauliflower steaks.
Yep. There's so many different
just
ways that you can make it. I mean, you can even make like bacon out of tofu. You know, and just it's all about what are you gonna add to it? Add some smoke to it. I mean, it's just there's like endless possibilities. You can just get super creative. You can have, you can have your ice cream, you can have your chocolate, you can have your brownies, you know, you can have your cookies, and you also can have your kale.
Yeah.
So it's like balance.
Yeah. Can make burgers out of pretty much like anything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so easy. I really like making foods out of whole foods. Like I love those. Was it chickpeas and sweet potato burgers that you made the other day? Yeah, it's just about looking up recipes. So many free recipes online, so easy to do.
And once you get the hang of it and you realize, oh, I can use this for a binder, so I can make these meatballs if I just add some vegan breadcrumbs. And I even make my own vegan breadcrumbs. It's just like we have like leftover bread, I throw them in the Vitamix and I put spices in there, and there we go. You have your breadcrumbs as a binder for anything that you need to cook. So it's just being creative and really taking time. Because as you begin to, be on that journey and you create that relationship with yourself and honor yourself and love yourself to the utmost, for me, meal prep, being creative with my food is all part of self-care. It's all part of self-care. When I take that time out and meal prep and plan my week and make delicious meals for myself, that's an act of self-care for me.
Yeah, I think it is, for sure, for me too. Yeah. I mean, just eating healthy in general is self-care. I mean, eating some junk food here and there is also self-care, but the main thing, I think, eating healthy and taking care of your body.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on, I want to talk about how veganism is a spiritual practice for you, and how that interplays with your beliefs.
So when I became vegan and I started my vegan journey, it was all for medical reasons. But that within that year, that shifted. There is a level of compassion that we all have. That when I began my journey and began to create a deeper relationship with myself and my body and the food that I was eating, my compassion grew. And not only was I doing it for health reasons, but I was also doing it for my love for animals, and the abuse that they go through. So that completely shifted, and that led to my spirituality. Because I am a healer, it's really important for me to keep my body light, and my energy light. And so that just, the veganism has supported my journey into just going in deeper and being more open, being more present, being lighter, and of course being super, 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 super mindful. And as a mindful practitioner, it's just like amazing, because you do have to be really mindful, and you do have to have a relationship with yourself. With me, because that was like my journey, it was for medical reasons. So for my health, I really had to pay attention to the changes my body was going through my food, because I was doing research on myself.
Right.
And that just supported me with my meditation practice, where I had more energy to take that deeper. I wasn't feeling as dense and heavy as before, so I was able to go deeper into my spirituality, and that really supported that path. And I feel for me, it's like so important as being a healer and a light worker.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. There's so many reasons to go vegan, and usually somebody will start for one reason, but then you just being around other people and hearing the different causes, you start to think, okay, well, I went vegan for my health first as well, and then I became interested in animal liberation, and then I became interested in the environment, and so it's just easy to see like how everything is just so connected to how we eat.
It is.
Something so simple, you know, just what foods we put in our body.
That is
can
correct.
be for our health, for the environment, for other human beings, for our spirituality, anything.
Yes.
And it's all about just making those connections.
And I'm really into the whole foods, and having like whole foods and organic foods and greens, and creating that relationship with the earth and the food has been amazing.
Okay, so that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Before we end, do you want to share a little bit about your new business?
Sure. So I'm an integrative healing arts practitioner, and I have a business called Selvaya Wisdom Healing Arts, and I'm a life coach, Reiki master, hypnosis practitioner, mindfulness practitioner, and I'm here to support everyone on their journey, healing journey, with themselves, with their food, with their bodies, anything they desire to work on and heal. I'm here.
That's awesome. So we're going to put links to her business down below in the description box for everyone to check out. So thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.